And the village of people that wraps around that, when you are willing to seek them out, makes the magic.
We're good? You all ready? You good? Ready? Good. All right, ready? All right, here we go. All right, here we go.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to Conversation Piece, the open door, where every third Thursday, we literally open the door to the studio and sit down with community members from across the Indianapolis area to talk about whatever is on their hearts at the moment. If you want to learn more, if you want to participate, go to conversationpiecepod.com and click the open door to fill out that form. My name is Patrick Armstrong. I am the host of the show. It is my honor and privilege to welcome our guest today, Jean Lee of the Academy of Chaos and the Midwest Homeschool Expo. Jean, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Patrick. Thanks for having me.
100%.
I am actually a transplant to Indianapolis.
Absolutely.
So it has been an interesting journey to become more familiar with the region and understand, as I became a mom, all that Indianapolis has to offer.
Absolutely. Okay, well, tell us a little bit about that. For folks who might be watching or listening who don't know who you are, do you mind just sharing just a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I'm the founder of the Academy of Chaos and the event director of the Midwest Homeschool Expo. I'm a homeschool mom of 3 littles, and that has led me on this crazy adventure. If you had asked me 5 years ago, Jean, would you be homeschooling mama? I would have said, no, that's weird. But COVID changed my life just like it did for everyone. And I realized the amazing lifestyle that had been kept a secret for far too long. So through that journey, I started leading group homeschool classes. I teach engineering, economics, geography, literature, all during the weekday for a tremendous amount of homeschool students on the north side at the Westfield Library.
Okay.
I also organize the homeschool community calendar, which lists all of the homeschool happenings across the entire metro area. It's posted weekly on my reel at the Academy of Chaos on all of my channels. And then this year, the Midwest Homeschool Expo launched, which I was really excited to share with you. It is, in its first year, the only academically focused homeschool conference in the Midwest region and one of the largest in the country in its first year.
I feel like I've not even heard of any homeschool expo to begin with. So I think that's a really monumentous achievement.
It's big. This year, almost 600 people attended, and there aren't a lot of options to get information about alternative learning.
Sure.
Families are seeking new methods, new ways for their kids to grow and learn outside of a traditional classroom. It's exploding right now. You hear a lot about it in the media. There are several laws through the legislature this year and funding changes. So there are more options than ever. And it's really exciting to be able to mentor families who are thinking, is there another way that my kids can learn outside of just a regular classroom?
Sure, 100%. So you said like COVID what necessitated getting into homeschooling in the first place. Where did you start? Where did you find resources, or how did you come around to being like, okay, this is something that is actually really positive, beneficial for what our lifestyle currently?
Sure. Well, for me, I had to figure out how was I going to teach my children. I had a first grader at that time and an infant, and we're a very academically rigorous family, but I had to think about curricula. What does that look like? I didn't even know where to get that. You cannot just go buy a math curricula at Target.
Sure.
So I had to find who are the retailers. If my child is going to have advanced learning in science, where is that going to come from? And in doing that journey, I also reached out to a lot of the subject matter experts across the city and said, hey, can we collaborate? Let's do a class. Let's bring your wisdom and share it with a pool of students to let them learn in a more advanced way, in a more hands-on way, in a teams-focused way, something outside of just doing worksheets and textbooks.
Sure.
And that's been really successful.
Amazing. And how does this all lead to the Academy of Chaos? When does that become the next step and what you're doing with homeschooling.
Sure. So the Academy of Chaos, I'm actually starting on January 29th, my next semester of classes. This semester, we have STEM engineering, where I teach the 6 simple machines. I teach attachment techniques. Every week we have a different project build, and then we learn how to do engineering notebooks. So hopefully I'm crafting the future of NASA.
For sure.
And then I also teach world geography in the spring with global cooking. So we'll have subject matter experts come from the community, partnering with restaurants so that we can have field trips. And then also I'm teaching round 2 of engineering, a whole new season. And then in the afternoon, I'm partnering with Junior Achievement to teach JA BizTown, which is an economics curricula with a full day simulation. So very interactive, very engaging. And like I said, a totally different way of learning than many of the students in the metro area are experiencing.
Sure. How did you, so you talk about like you had to seek out curricula, you had to work with other people, like collaborating and to create class environment and lessons for them to learn. How are you putting together like a semester's worth of work? What does that look like? What goes into, this is what we're going to be learning now, or does that change semester to semester? How does that work with the Academy of Chaos?
So I will ask members of the community, hey, what are your kids interested in learning? What are my kids interested in learning? And then I also look at what's a need. So where are there gaps in offering? There's tons of robotics classes and opportunities for that, but there weren't tons of geography classes.
Sure.
And there weren't tons of hands-on engineering classes. So I wanted to offer those to meet a need where there was a gap.
I like it. You gotta, I think something that we are really interested in is how do we go into the community, ask questions of the community to then build solutions that are community-based as opposed to waiting on an institution to create said solution. And generally creating solutions that don't work for the people that need them to work for them. So I like what you're putting together here. And how does this, what you've built here work in tandem with like public institutions you host at the public library, you said, in Westfield? I think it's really cool. I went onto the website and I saw that you have a number of different public partners, even within, I think, the school system. How does that come together? And how does that collaboration work to further what you want to do?
Sure. So there are traditional homeschoolers who aren't part of the public education system, and their parents teach them solely the core subjects at home, but then they also take a lot of enrichment classes outside of that. So my kids take karate, ballet, they're on swim team, we take art classes. They're very busy, and there's always a question of socialization in homeschooling, but my kids are going all day, every day. You're way more busy, actually, because you have the time to be taking all of those enrichment classes. It's not unusual for my daughter to get up at 6 a.m. and be done with her core subjects by 9 or 10 because she just has to work through that. She's not having to go through the motions of the regular school day. And so when it comes to partnering, then there are other public school programs. One is the Indiana ESA program. There are hybrid school programs like Indiana Online or Braintree Academy. Those are technically public school programs, but they also allow a lot of flexibility in your schedule. So kids are also be able to take advantage of those enrichment classes like my engineering class or other robotics classes in the community art schools. And if you look at the homeschool community calendar, it's a really busy agenda every weekday.
Yeah.
So the kids have so much more opportunity to advance in things that they're excited and passionate about once they just finish their core subjects at home.
For sure. Well, and like you said, it's an offering of an alternative method of learning that doesn't necessarily sit in competition with, but as an option for people to use if that's something that's within their wheelhouse or something that they have access to. So yes. I like that it's, like you said, like it's another option. And I think Indiana has tried to create a number of options. So I think that's good when it comes to an educational standpoint. As far as the expo goes, how does that now, everything that you've done culminate in this, like, I'm assuming that's the gap that you saw. There aren't enough of these conferences or gatherings that we can get together in and talk about these types of things. When did you realize that that was something that you needed to do and that you were the person that should get it kicked off?
Well, I realized that after COVID, a lot of things went online. And so then we weren't getting the in person engagement. There were tons of conferences. There's always meetings. There's always Zooms. There's always classes. There's OutSchool. There's all these different opportunities to take classes and learn online. But that takes away from fundamentally who we are as humans, having that connection. And when we're together in person, our batteries get charged so much more. That's so valuable, which is part of the reason why I think it's important to have in-person classes, the group learning that I do at the library or whether it's with other organizations. But the expo was another point of that. That was the next level where I realized it can be super isolating to be a homeschool parent. You're at home alone, you're teaching your children, and although you might be going out for activities, you're going from thing to thing to thing. Where are we stopping for pause, to gather, to share ideas, to support each other? And I didn't see a place that was for everyone.
Sure.
I didn't see an inclusive, academically focused space. And so one day in February, I woke up and I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this space for every mom and every dad who also is at home thinking, is there anybody else like me? Is there anybody else who is just wondering, this is hard and how do I get through it? And 600 other people agreed.
For sure.
So here I am in round 2 of the event. The next event will be on June 28th here in Indianapolis at the Crown Plaza. And it's already 50% capacity for exhibitors.
Awesome.
So I'm really excited about the curricula publishers, about the subject matter experts that are coming to present and share their wisdom, about the family networking time. I think that's probably the most valuable piece is when we gather, we realize we're not in it alone. We have so many other people supporting us, believing in us. Sometimes it just takes one other person to say, you've got this, moms.
For sure. I love it. What do people need to know as we approach June, as we approach round 2 of the conference, of the expo, that maybe they're not thinking about, or maybe that they're on the fence about attending? What do they need to know that will, this is for you for this reason?
Yeah. Well, I think understanding the value of being there in person and how powerful that is important. A lot of people wonder, it's hard to leave. When you have kids, it's hard to get out of the house.
For sure.
You're just trying to survive, right? But the expo makes it super easy. So we have all-day kids workshops that the kids are busy. They have something to do. It's free. Kids get in free and the workshops are free. I want them to have a day of fun and experience and shared learning as well. And then that allows parents to have time to talk, connect, meet other friends, engage with the village, and then also seek out resources to support them, whether that is curricula publishers, whether it's activities providers, whether it's unique learning services. There is something for whatever your alternative learning might might be. And so it really is this magical space where you just come and get everything you need, come up with a plan, and then kick off your next year of learning. And you feel so much more empowered and ready to go.
I love it. Come for the community, leave with a plan for how to move forward in this homeschooling situation that you find yourself in. I love it.
Yes.
I like how community rooted and focused this work is that you're involved in. So I want to ask you, what does community mean to you?
Sure. For me, coming to the Midwest and living in Indianapolis, I found as a mom, it is filled with people who care. It's filled with people who are engaging and interesting and fun. And when you open yourself up to that universe, when you say yes to going, you find just this amazing village of people and kids and families. And we have some of the best parks in the country. We have sports, we have music, we have art, we have every opportunity of activity to enjoy. But then the village of people that wraps around that, when you are willing to seek them out, makes the magic.
I am here for it. And I couldn't agree more. I think finding that community, finding your people is so powerful and important. And it's been an important part of my journey. And it's been an important part of the show has been to build community with like-minded and people who want to see us move forward together as opposed to moving forward in division or in divided ways. How do people find out more about the Academy of Chaos and the Midwest Homeschool Expo? Where do they go to find that? How do they follow and support you in the work that you're doing going forward?
Sure. theacademyofchaos.com has it all. I have resource guides for athletics, for co-ops, for learning supports, and then also all of my socials are under the same name, the Academy of Chaos.
All right. Well, we were going to have all of that linked in our show notes here as well. Midwest Homeschool Expo, all of that is available on Academy of Chaos
Yes.
as well. Tickets and everything for that.
Yes.
Okay.
And don't wait, because 2024 was a sellout.
Don't wait. That sellout already at 50% for
Yes.
round 2. So I'm assuming round 2 can only lead to round 3s and 4s. So exciting to see what you got going on. Excited to be able to follow along with this work and hopefully to see it continue to grow.
Thank you. Thanks
Absolutely.
so much.
Thank you for coming on, Gene. Make sure you check out Gene's work, Academy of Chaos, Midwest Homeschool Expo, in the show notes. For everything Conversation Piece, go to conversationpiece.com. Click on the open door if you're interested in coming on and being part of this series. And until next time, this has been The Open Door. I've been Patrick Armstrong, and we'll see y'all soon.
We're good? You all ready? You good? Ready? Good. All right, ready?